Have you ever had one of those situations where you see a film or you hear something about a business idea and you think, I can relate to that so much, and I had no idea that that happened to someone else? So I just had that with something in the news. So I'm going to tell you my story about what happened and what happened to them. The story in the news involves Google about 18 years ago, which is around the first time that I first got started with affiliate websites. And this couple in the news actually are the ones who started off the whole Google monopoly case. A British couple with a website that did price comparisons, and they actually started the case that is costing Google £2 billion. So I'll tell you what they did and how it relates to me. So the couple had a website. They'd actually created their own very innovative price comparison search service, and really quickly they saw that their rankings dropped. Apparently they appealed this, but nothing happened. They even got mentioned by the press on TV, but they didn't make a difference, and eventually they ended up going to Google and taking them on. The funny thing is, for me, about 2 years later, I sort of took a similar path. I created a product comparison website, but it was more blog based, and it used a lot of SEO to help me rank for the main products that I wanted to list. And I did quite well as an affiliate through this site. I actually got mentioned at conferences. I actually had a case study done on stage by a top affiliate saying that if I carried on, I hopefully would be on for like 100,000 a year if I kept going. And I even got a search in spike traffic when I got mentioned by a marketing blog, because I was ranking #1 for a product at the time that was very big and no one else was listing. More about that another day. But instead of taking on Google, I did have a similar experience, which is I didn't get a search penalty, but I did see my rankings start to lower when Google started their own shopping service and they would have their products listed up at the top of Google. It seemed that, like a bit like AI right now and AI overviews, but it seemed like they had the top spot and it was really hard to get in that first place, and they always came up top. So that, combined with the fact that Google had started to penalise affiliate sites or anything that was seen as thin content, and the only purpose of them was to promote products and they didn't have a lot of content and information behind them. So I saw this start to happen, and I started to see a new opportunity, which was, why didn't I take what I'd learned with rankings and start to optimise other people's websites? So at this point, even though I was doing pretty well with affiliate marketing, I started to think there probably wasn't much of a future for me with it, with the blog, and I decided to move to something else. And that was SEO for service businesses. So then I did SEO for e-commerce sites and also for service business owners. And that went really well, but I wish I'd known that this was a big thing at the time. Because at the time I felt that only I was noticing that the product listings for Google were, beating everybody else. And it seems that the other company eventually did go out of business because of what happened with their SEO rankings. I luckily used pay-per-click as well, so it did help. I'm also pretty glad that I didn't try and take on Google, because I don't think they actually got the 2 billion themselves, which if they had, that was my first thought, that would have been quite worthwhile. So I think my point here, other than thinking it was quite interesting and cool that there was a similar story to something that I could relate to quite strongly, my message would be that if you learn certain skills, you can transfer them, and that no learning experience is ever really a waste of time. I hope that helps if you're worrying at the moment about SEO and artificial intelligence and AI overviews in Google. I think it makes sense to always keep experimenting, keep trying new things, and see what you can do with adapting your skills. Right now my goal is to really diversify SEO, so I'm doing SEO on social media as well as Google and other search engines. And I still believe that you can really rank in AI overviews. You just need to know how, and you need to be experimenting and seeing what works.